Starting.
Into order at,
What, okay.
are we fired up, everybody? Let's call it, let's call it,
Is it?
Whatever time it is.
we'll call that clock, we'll call it 8 after. 2 minutes after 7 on the 27th of February. This is the Jamaica Selectboard meeting. I know. Put this on, go
All
away.
cell phones have to be turned off.
It's off. See that? Look resistant. Okay, time's back in. The first order of business in the agenda is to call for any additions to the agenda. Does anyone have anything they would like to add to the agenda before we get started on
Me? No?
You wait.
your public concerns?
What?
She's our public.
No.
We're concerned about you.
I just want to say at this point,
Yes.
that because of my efforts, we have doubled the public.
I'm so impressed. You have
No,
done
I
this.
just want to add, at the end of the meeting, I don't know when I'm supposed to say, I have something to say.
All right, and your name is?
Okay,
What's your name again, please?
I'm Eleanor Katz,
Oh, Eleanor.
Elinor.
Yeah.
Public concerns.
Yeah, okay, we'll put you on the public
Get the
concerns.
key to get into
Yes.
the
Good.
town hall tomorrow.
Anything else? Anybody else? Hearing none, we'll move on to approve the minutes of the February 13th Select Board meeting. Once again, wonderfully produced by our favorite scribe. These are all emailed to everybody. Has anybody had, you all had a chance to look them over, I hope? Is there any questions, deletions, corrections, modifications, elaborations? If not, I would entertain a motion to accept them.
I make a motion to approve the February 13 minutes.
I second.
I have Merson and a second. Do I hear any further discussion? None? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are accepted with our thanks. The next item of business is to approve the time sheets of town office, solicitors, highway, and transfer stations. We typically do that at the end of the session, so we don't delay anything. So we'll do that again at the end of the session. Approve the time sheets for the town office, solicitors, highway, and transfer station, basically ditto. And we will sign the select board orders at the end of the session. On the next order of business, we have 3 excess weight permits. Our road commissioner is not here, but I will review them really quickly and then we will hand it to him. Subsequent to producing the agenda, we received 2 more requests. So what we're going to do is we're going to make 5. We have one from the United Natural Foods Incorporated, which contains the appropriate check information. Another from Lind Well Drilling. I guess it's Lind or Lindy? Line. Anyway, people have done business here before. Best Septic Services, LLC, another appropriate receipt for that. Today we received one from Renault Brothers for their fleet, and another from Valley Crane Services, Inc. for their fleet. I would entertain a motion that we refer these to the road commissioner for approval with the usual restrictions.
So moved.
Second?
Any further discussion? Yes. We got a phone call today from somebody, I don't remember exactly who it was, asking what weight restrictions we had on the Iron Bridge going into the park. Was it one of these?
No, it was not one of
Was
those.
it another one?
It was a different one. They're going to send it in.
All right, yeah, I didn't get the name, but I was thinking if it's one of these, we should make it clear that, and I can talk to,
Considerably.
what's that?
That's changed
Oh,
considerably.
it's down to 8,000 with no exceptions.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that bridge is too fragile to be
Right.
taking chances with. So we have a motion and a second, and then on the last of the discussions, anybody else wish to discuss it? Hearing none, all in favor of passing these 5 excess weight permits to the road commissioner, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Therefore, the motion carries that we'll pass these to Lou when he's done with his other meeting. Now, we got a little bit of a problem because Lou is the lead author for number 6, which is consider the contract for the new garage. He did provide us with one. It's pretty convoluted. I tried to look it over, so I don't even want to start it until he's here to kind of walk us through it. And the other one is a discussion, and number 7, a discussion of the changes in the Wyndham Solid Waste budget. I know just a tiny little bit about that, and that is that Wyndham Solid Waste budget, because of some things that are going on, are redoing it, and it looks as though there may be an increase for us all. But Lou, being our rep, it should be when speaking to that, not me. So I will ask us all to table those two until he gets through with his meeting upstairs, and we can contribute to this. Which, pause for commercial.
Can we just skip those and go to public concern?
We can, but I'm gonna
Set a table?
do a quick, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, I'm not tabling, I'm just switching them to move to later. A quick commercial. Lou won't be with us after next town meeting. We are a fun bunch here. I highly recommend anyone interested in public service, their community involvement, someone like to contribute to the well-being of Jamaica.
He carries the bulk of the entire committee.
We are scared to death. We're just going to cower under the table in his absence.
No, we're not.
No, we're not? Ah, darn it, I was planning on it.
No.
Anyhow, just let everybody know, the 7th of March, join us at the town hall and participate, perhaps join us on the select board. And the commercial, now we have a guest who we have some public with a concern. Yes, ma'am?
Oh, me?
Yes.
Okay. I thought it would be appropriate for me to inform the select board that the Jamaica Council on the Arts, under the auspices of the Jamaica Council of the Arts, we have formed a committee to have a craft show here in town. It's planned for May 6th. We are taking over the town hall. We've already paid our fee to use the town hall. And this is a non-profit making thing for the town. We're doing this to enhance community involvement and community feeling. And to date, we have 15 vendors signed up for inside the town hall. I've got about an equal amount for people who will be on the streets. We have some gracious people who live on the street who have porches in front of their homes, and they're going to open that up for vendors. We've got some local vendors like Margie Silva and Ray Ballantyne today just told me he's going to be in it. And we've got some very well-known vendors, artisans from the area, from Brattleboro, from Pulteney, from all over. And I think it should be a great day. We've been publicizing for vendors. I can show you the mail. Pam sent out email to people in the community looking for vendors, and that's been successful. People have been calling me and filling out their forms. We're going to be putting signs up. This is not completely done yet. We're going to make some big signs similar to this, inviting the public to come.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! May 6th, rain or shine,
What's the date again?
May 6th,
May 6th.
from 10 to 3. And y'all come. We're going to have food vendors. We're asking the food providers on the street to provide food, participate with us, and we're also informing all the businesses on the street that we are doing this, and they can participate in any way they see fit. We're charging minimum amount for people to have tables, $15 for outside, $25 for in. We're probably going to have to call the police, the sheriff.
I'll have to do that, you can't do that.
Oh, okay. That's good to know that.
Uh,
So if you can get hold of the sheriff to come
Why
back.
don't you send me the information that I need?
Well, she's got it. She's got all the information.
To me, and I will get in
So
touch.
we can, yeah, and so they can monitor the traffic. Hopefully, we have sidewalks, and we hope to keep things on the sidewalks and on the lawns and in the town.
What we're gonna do is probably send a deputy just to be
To monitor.
available, and that's it, yeah.
Okay.
So the next step.
So is there anything that you think that we need to do other than that. We've paid our fees, we're getting insurance for the town hall. I was told we don't need insurance for the streets.
Right. I don't know if you need signs or not for the, like the Heritage Festival, they have signs.
Traffic
that-
signs.
Like traffic signs,
Oh.
It may very well
the
be.
state, I know now the state is very careful, we have to have the signs at each end so that
We
they
have-
know something is coming
When,
up.
when they used to have, Old Home Day, somebody, I guess the sheriff, put up signs, no parking signs and stuff like that.
No, they deliver, if we wanted to put parking signs, they would deliver them here, and it would be up to the folks to put the no parking signs.
But you said there should be a sign at the beginning of town
And then that there's something going on.
So the sheriff will
No,
take
they
it?
don't take care of that, I
Who
think
will
it's
do
the
that?
state.
Like V-Trans? Like
Yeah,
the
let me do a little
transportation?
research on that.
I'd
Remind
appreciate
me on
that,
Wednesday.
yeah.
Yep.
I didn't know we had to do that.
You might not, but I think you do, so that people coming into town, they'll know that something is going
Well,
on.
we're gonna have some laminated signs made, 18 by 24 probably, that will say that there's a craft show going on.
Yeah, you have to have so many days before the show. It's like, I'll check with Heritage Festival too, those folks, what they know.
We have to remember that's at Route 30.
Is a state
100,
road.
there's the major
Right.
thoroughfare. And on a weekend in May, it'll be very, very busy. No?
It's mud
Oh,
season.
mud season.
It's we're concerned that we're gonna get enough tourists.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna mainly get locals because it's, skiing's done, the flies in the mud are out. I don't think there's camping yet at that time. Interestingly, I've gotten the guys over from the Army Corps of Engineers over at the dam. There's a bunch of young guys in the office there. They're gonna come and put up a tent and give out stuff about water safety. And they have been commanded by the Army to have more community interaction. So they were thrilled
Oh, good.
that I asked them about this. So they're going to participate.
Good, 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 excellent.
Great.
Yeah.
So you have been duly told, but Judy said I should.
And the funds that you receive for the tables and stuff, will that go back into the Arts Council?
Yes, that's going into the Arts Council, and the money is being used for advertising. Anything left over, which I doubt if there will be,
Right.
is going to go to the Arts Council to support whatever endeavors. Hopefully, we're going to have enough for the advertising. And maybe at some point, the town would consider giving more funds to the Arts Council, because we're trying to spread beyond the music into the visual arts and the crafts. And we'll see how this goes. We'll see how this goes.
If you're really, really successful, perhaps you could contribute to us. Just a thought.
Well, let's see what happens.
Sure, sure.
Personally, or?
We could put Jamaica on the map,
Yes.
and then if you think about
It's
it,
a
you
real
know,
artsy town.
and you can
It
get
is.
the floodplain squared away, then you can have a huge amount of people coming in here to open up stores.
Sure.
Yeah, we've got empty shops there. Skip has said we could use the front of his area, and I think I have a chainsaw carver to come in there for the day. Yeah, he hasn't given me the money yet, so we'll see. The check's in the mail. If he did, I think he will do it.
Thank you for all
Okay,
your.
yeah, thank you for that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent, thank you very much.
And if you want to continue to stay here and get all the nitty
Why
gritty,
not?
we'll vote to leave.
Let's see what's going on.
Sure, you might fall in love with us.
I might.
We've been rejoined by Lou. Hi Lou, we put the stuff that you and I talked about, you talking about, on hold.
Oh,
It's
okay.
now unholded.
Which topic are we
The
talking about?
first one was,
6.
we're gonna talk about really quickly, I think, let's do number 7, I think that's faster than number 6. The
Oh.
discussion on the budget.
It's just WSWMD, but that's okay.
Never mind, that's my fault. I missed.
I just want to give you an update on where the district is at, because you've seen there's a lot of conversation in the newspaper about it. As you all know, of course, the district has decided not to stay in the recycling business. So beginning in July 1st, we need to hire a private contractor to do our recycling. That will be a little bit more expensive than it was in the past. I think we reflected that in our budget. But what's happened is the district needs to close the facility. And we can't just close it on July 1st because once all the containers come in from all the sites, there's still another 300 tons of material that still needs to be dealt with. So we're going to have to keep the operation open for about a month. And part of the budget that you're seeing, part of the assessment that you're seeing in the budget reflects a $94,000 closing expense. We estimate it's going to cost about $94,000 to actually spend that extra month processing and getting the facility cleaned up, ready to go. So that's the first thing I wanted to point out to you, that next year's budget will actually be $94,000 less, and we're about 3% of the population, so our budget will go down another 3,000 or so next year.
When you say our, I always have to remind everybody who's watching that you speak our from two separate lives.
Yeah.
When you say our budget by 94,000, you're talking about our being.
Wyndham Solid Waste budget.
Exactly, not the Jamaican budget.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Is $94,000. That will be down, and our portion of that, Jamaica's portion of that, is about $3,000.
Gotcha.
The budget will go down.
What would be 19 towns?
19, but Winhall has decided to leave the district, so by then it'll be 18 towns.
Yeah.
But what's happened is, part of the reason we were going through this process is because the district has been losing money. About 4 years ago or so, we had about a $400,000 surplus in our coffers. That has been slowly eroding over the years. And last year our surplus was $3,000. So you can see we've lost. This year we're expected to lose another $100,000. So the question is, where does that $100,000 come from? Right now we've got about $8,000 in our account to cover payroll and about $30,000 worth of bills. So we're looking to get a short-term loan to get us through the rest of this year. We're not sure, we're hoping that we can cover that loan with a number of different things. Number one, part of the reason we're low on cash is we've got about $20,000 invested in the solar project that we're going to recoup once we get our first lease payment. So we expect to get about $20,000 of that back with that first lease payment. We always end the year with about $50,000 of accounts receivable. That $50,000 will of course come in before this loan has to be repaid. So part of that loan will be repaid with accounts receivable. The other part will be paid by some of the other sale of materials after the whole thing is done. However, in order to secure the loan, and this is why I'm bringing this to you now so you know it, in order to secure the loan, we have to secure it basically with taxpayer money. So in essence, we have to pledge to the bank, that if we can't pay this loan back any other way, we will then come back and assess that to the towns. And of course, you then assess that to the taxpayers. So our portion of that, it's a $150,000 loan. Our portion of that is about $4,500. So it's a possibility that an assessment may come back to the town for about $4,500 if we can't pay this loan any other way. So that's the reason I wanted to bring it up to you, because I don't want this to appear in the paper without you having heard from me.
Gotcha.
At our next district meeting, we'll be voting on this issue or dealing with it.
So basically, it will have a direct effect on what we have in our budget for next year, if that will happen.
It's actually would happen this year.
Oh,
Because if
this
we
year?
do take out the loan, we can only take out a loan for 1 year.
Okay.
So it has to be repaid before the next fiscal year is over.
Okay.
And we also have, I didn't mention it, we also have what we think is about $150,000 to $200,000 worth of equipment that can be sold at auction. And so that will help as well. So there are a lot of different ways to pay this loan back. However, we're pledging to do it. Our pledge is to do it with taxpayer. So anyways, that's just to fill you in on where that's at.
Well, thank you for the cheerful news. Can we talk about something a little bit more cheerfuler? The contract for the new garage. I received a copy of it. This is item number 6, for those of you keeping score at home. This is the contract from AIA that I started to read over and my eyes glossed over. So it's gonna take me some time to look this thing over.
Well, let me
Would you like to
give you
make some comments?
Let me give you the comments that I have. The AIA is I think it's the American Architectural Institution of America or something like that. And what they try to do for their members is to give them a standard contract that they can use. Unfortunately, when you have a very generic contract that can be used for multiple situations, it's quite lengthy with a lot of things that may or may not be relevant to our particular situation. I passed this contract to Paul Gillies, our attorney. Paul looked it over, and I gave to our Paul a series of his comments. So we can pass that out to everybody. I don't have a copy of this.
Do you have one?
No.
There you go. You have another one.
I gave you all my copies. There are two pieces of the contract. The first one is the actual contract. The second one is the general conditions. Basically, the contract is relatively short, dealing with a more pertinent piece of information, and then the general conditions deal with all the legal verbose. Anyways, basically what Paul was concerned about, items number 1, 2, and 3, these are all things where the AIA form says fill in the following information based on your situation. Well, it turns out that probably of all the 12 or 15 parts of it, only about 4 or 5 of them were relevant, the others weren't. And he wanted to see in there the word NA rather than just left blank. Because if it's left blank, he felt that
Yeah, like a big piece is missing.
like something missing, right? So he wanted to see NA where it wasn't really appropriate. So that's what pretty much 1, 2, and 3 were about. Under general conditions, number 4, which is not actually numbered, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9 were things that Paul was concerned about, and they've all been added to the general conditions. He was concerned about things like subject to the provisions of the Vermont Mediation Act. When it came to mediation, he wanted to be sure that it was noted that it's all subject to Vermont laws, because the AIA is a general one for the whole country. So he wanted to put things in there regarding Vermont law. And he wanted to put something in there regarding subject to the direction of the Jamaica Selectboard in 2.1.1. So these are all the things that he wanted to have them add to the contract, which they did. Number 7 was a little bit different. Number 7 referred to 2 sections, section 12.2.2.1, which talked about warranties, and section 13.7, which talks about what happens in the event of a real big catastrophic type problem, like the cement cracking or something like that. He thought they were in conflict. I had a lot of time to talk it over with the contractor. 12.2.2.1 refers to a 1-year warranty. It's sort of like a car where you get the bumper-to-bumper warranty. Everything is covered no matter what, doesn't matter what the warranty says for the actual like product, like the furnace or the whatever. It's pretty much a bumper-to-bumper warranty. What happens is they allow it to go through 1 year's cycle of winter and summer, the heat of summer, the cold of winter, and to see how the building works after that 1 year. That's what 12.2.2.1 is all about. They pretty much will do anything that they will fix any problem that happens. Beyond that, this also talks about the warranties that any particular company warranties with their product, like the furnace or the light. And if it's more than 1 year, then of course that warranty continues for as long as a particular company warranties their product. Section 13.7 refers to what happens if after that first year, kind of like our sidewalk. Remember our sidewalk? We had that big thing that nobody anticipated, but it took a couple of years for that to actually surface. Well, this actually is where we would then go back to the to determine whether it was a problem with the design, in which case it would be we would be a Cotton Engineering. We would work with them, or if it was a problem with the workmanship. And the other thing that we're going to be doing as part of this project is we're going to be hiring Beck Engineering to do a lot of the compaction tests, the break tests on the concrete. So a lot of that will be tested as we go along. But that gives us 10 years to be able to determine where the fault lies and to hold them or whomever responsible.
It says here 6 though. What is he referring? Is that 6 years?
No, again, this is an AIA contract and that says 10. Vermont law says 6.
6 years.
And so since the contract says 10, we're actually getting more than what the Vermont law requires. Like if you didn't, if you built a building and you didn't have a contract to build it, it was just built, the state gives you 6 years to go after the contractor if there's a problem.
That's the statute of limitations.
Right.
6 years.
But it's now 10 because of this 13.7.
Yeah.
So it's greater than
Yeah, that's better for us.
So the point is that this contract has been looked at by our attorney. They've responded to all the items that Paul had concerns about. And either we can vote. I would recommend that we execute it tonight because whoever the contract, well, we know it's MDS, they are going to want to start planning for this. And if we waited another 2 weeks, it would require them to wait for 2 weeks before they started ordering materials and stuff like that. So I wouldn't want to wait too long.
Should we put that in motion?
I guess I will move that we accept the contract, the MDS contract.
VMS.
AIA, pardon me?
VMS.
VMS. MDS. I'm
Close.
dyslexic.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. And any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of accepting the contract as presented and reviewed by both our road commissioner and our attorney, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Contract is accepted and move forward.
Okay.
And thank you for doing that. I was getting a headache just looking through it. So.
It's a hard contract to read.
Anybody ever has a question about why lawyers get paid so much, this is a real good example. The other item we had, I think we covered everything on the agenda except for the last item. We need to talk about the disposition of the Old Town Garage. And since that's a contractual issue, and it involves contracting and bidding and whatever phrases I'm supposed to say.
Well, I got 3 bids, and the question is, do you want to discuss those bids in private, or do you want to discuss them in public?
I think we should do it in private, be consistent.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would entertain a motion to do an executive session for the purposes of contractual discussions. Does that sound right?
It's a
Well, the first thing you need to do is, let's say you have the language.
I have the language. Motion made that the board finds that the general public knowledge will place the municipality or person this way, it's like a municipality, at a substantial disadvantage if the matters are discussed public. When a request, then you request enter into executive session for the purpose of contract.
So the first motion is, do we feel that this discussion could place members of our community in substantial jeopardy or inconvenience?
Not the members, the town as a whole.
Town as a whole. Gotcha. And
So
then-
who's, Lexa, did you make that motion?
I'll make
You
the
read it?
motion.
Yep, okay, so we got that motion. Do we have a second?
I'll
And
second.
Any further discussion on that motion?
I just have a question.
Sure.
How does it do that?
Well, generally when we talk about bidding, a lot of times we try to, take, companies, we don't wanna, expose what
Right.
what they're doing. And also, if one company knows what another company is doing, then it potentially could put the town at, not in jeopardy, but at a disadvantage.
disadvantage, right?
Yeah, I think sometimes companies trust that we'll keep their information close to the vest for the decisions made.
And the second motion, request to enter into executive
But
session.
before we do that, we first had to make a motion that we agree that it places in disfavor, disjeopardy, whatever the heck the phrase was. Do we agree that, and your discussion was to that point, all in favor of agreeing, or let's say, all in favor of the position that this action, this discussion could place the town in
Jeopardy.
jeopardy?
Not jeopardy, no, a disadvantage.
Disadvantage.
Any
Say aye.
discussion possible on this?
No, not from the guy, just from the board right now. That's in accordance with, I'll talk to you later. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That, the ayes have it. Now, the second motion is then to go into executive session.
Request to enter into executive session for the purpose of contractual matters.
Is that the motion?
It's a request.
No,
I'm saying,
but I'll move that.
Second.
any further discussion? I have a first and a second. No further discussion. All in favor of going into executive session on this matter, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourning for our executive session at 7:40.
Are we?
Okay, where are we? Okay, we've dissolved executive session. We're back in order. It is now 7:54. The business of disposing of the old town garage was discussed. We followed our procurement procedures. I would entertain a motion regarding the contract to dispose of the old town garage.
I move that we hire Fitzpatrick Excavating to remove dispose of that portion of the town garage which he does not want to keep.
I'll second.
I have a first, I have a motion, I have a second. Do I have any other discussion?
Yes, I will discuss it, only to let the public know what we're talking about here. Mike Fitzpatrick from Fitzpatrick Excavating has asked for us to give him the old town garage building, which we were very happy to do. We thought we were going to be able to get rid of it with Stratton Foundation, or not Foundation, Stratton, what's the name of their holding company?
Stratton Court.
Stratton Corp, whatever. They were interested, but they decided not to, so we were afraid that we were gonna have to just demolish it and sell it for scrap metal. And fortunately, that's not gonna happen. He's interested in taking the building. But once he's taken the building, there is a cement pad that is still there. There's also a cement knee wall that goes around the current building. There's a few other things that need to be disposed of, and he has a quote for $4,000, which we have, which this motion will ask that approved to spend to get rid of it. So basically, the cost of demolishing that old town garage will be about $4,000. Yes.
Just within the discussion thing, be aware that we followed the procurement procedures and got 2 other bids as per our regulation, both of which were higher. And this is why we're taking the lowest bid for that.
So that's the discussion.
That's the discussion. Any further discussion?
Does he carry away all the cement?
Oh, no, the cement will be brought up to the transfer station and put over the back. We do that all the time to expand the footprint of the transfer station.
Trying to take over the planet one little chunk
Right.
at a time. All in favor of the motion as presented, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. The contract will be awarded to Fitzpatrick Excavation.
I think that's what it's called, Fitzpatrick.
It is.
It is. Number 10 on the agenda.
Make a motion to adjourn, for the adjournment?
Oh, I
Did you
would
have
like to say
other
something before we
concerns?
go.
Oh.
Already.
Is that okay?
I did not know that.
Wait,
I would just
Okay.
like,
Halt, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that this is your last meeting,
I intend not to run for re-election, yes.
and that I think that it's going to be a loss
Thank you.
for the community. You have put in tremendous amount of work, not only this time around, but earlier on. And that we will miss you.
Well, thank you.
he's not gonna be fired.
No, we know where you live.
No, and, however, Joel did point out that he was upstairs with me at the other meeting when public concerns. I don't know if you had a public concern. Before we adjourn, we should give him the opportunity of,
Oh, I just wanted to say that I would like to see more information in the minutes. So,
Okay, we'll take that into consideration.
so most of the minutes that I see are really bare outlines. And it would be good if the town could see exactly what's going on. It's hard to wade through the video.
Lovely job.
We can, I don't know if she can do it word by word, I mean, it's
Not
pretty
word by
hard.
word, it's just most of
Just
the
action
actions.
statement.
More
Really,
substance, right?
legally, we just have to do the motions.
We're actually expanded beyond the minimum legal requirements for motions in the state of Vermont. So we have much more information than we're required to have. But if there's ever a question, we can certainly, if it gets to the point where we're not covering the motions and the actions that we take, then
Wouldn't it be nice
if we had somebody who's doing a verbatim,
but it doesn't have to be verbatim.
no, it doesn't, and I'll take that
I mean,
into
I think Dan does a great job.
She does a
She
superb job.
really
but
does.
Again, we have to be realistic about that, but we'll take it into consideration. Thank you for your comments about the loss of what's-his-face over there.
thank you.
We do know where you live. I do understand that you want to continue in the business of this new garage as like a public.
The clerk of the works.
Right, well, I intend on coming up to the next meeting, your organizational meeting, and ask that you appoint me to the civilian
So
position.
that's where the civilian position.
We had 2 select board members, 2 members of the public, and then Keith. So I would be willing to move to the non,
Sure.
because during the course of construction, I think the committee should be involved in overseeing some of that.
Well, you are going to be a major loss, but we'll.
But he's gonna be an asset for our garage
It's
project.
certainly an asset for the garage thing, but the rest of us, we'll miss you, but we're not gonna tell you that.
It won't be the same.
So anyway, we were about to, I've had a couple of motions and a second to adjourn. We had the discussion. Any further discussion?
Yes,
Okay,
the bridge on Depot Street is falling apart.
which one?
That's all I got to tell you. The one that meets back Water Street.
Okay, Water Street is worse than it was?
Yeah, on the sides where those
Ooh, you-
holes, where the holes are, they're getting bigger and bigger.
Well, first of all, I should tell you that it is on the pre-candidate list
Right.
of the state, of the county's highest priority bridges. The next meeting of the Wyndham Regional Commission Transportation Committee, which is in 2 weeks, we are actually gonna be prioritizing again all the bridges in the county. So I will be fighting, I'm on that committee, I'll be fighting to keep this bridge on that list. However, if this ever gets to action, we're not gonna see anything for 10 or 15 years. So
Well,
my,
it's just a safety. Take a look at it on the right side,
right, we can do
not the
as,
sidewalk side.
we
There's
can-
like a hole big enough to throw this table through.
right, we can have somebody look at that to repair the concrete.
Right. That's all I'm
Are
saying.
you gonna
I'm
stay
not-
on that committee?
Pardon me?
Are you gonna stay on the transportation
I don't
committee?
think so, no.
For why? Can we get the bridge fixed?
I'm definitely gonna be on the next one.
You've got
We can bring little chunks of concrete as visual aids.
4 o'clock?
But I think we
No,
should,
it's 4 o'clock?
we should get a bridge contractor in here to look at it.
That's just,
No.
I'm not saying we need to put in a bridge.
We
No,
don't.
but I think,
That right side is
Yeah.
getting very scary to look at.
Don't think like a dog is walking all over there, or
Oh, jeez.
you fall to it.
we can do repair.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Anything else?
No.
All in favor of adjourning?
Uh,
Any opposed? Hearing none, we stand adjourned at 8:02.